We got to make time to talk a little bit about COVID-19. So I don't want to talk so much about how you responded and what you did. I want to talk about what you're doing now and what you're planning for the
Right.
future. So real quick, just how did you respond and what did you do to handle this?
Yeah. So the night before we were closing, I was sitting with my Cheney rep and I turned to him and said, I just left Publix. There's no food on the shelves. This is crazy. What the hell's going on? And he turns to me and goes, yeah, that's nuts because I have a warehouse full of food and I have nobody to sell it to. And we kind of looked at each other and I stayed up overnight and coded our website and built out a grocery store. So immediately the next day we were selling groceries and it was amazing for the first 3 weeks. We found something our customers needed that we could provide and we filled that gap.
Did you say you
Um,
created your website?
well, I use Bento Box. Do you know Bento Box?
Do you know Bento Box, another past sponsor? I'm not planning this. I swear to God, this is not a giant.
So I never really been on the backside of Bento because like I don't really do a whole lot on our site like that. And it was super easy. And I just literally, I mean, I can't believe how many I had like 200 items up there. It was crazy and just built it out. And it looked amazing because their site's so easy to use.
Because I was going to say, like, I mean, that must be an incredible skill to be able to code and work on your own website.
I say code loosely. It's kind of template based.
That's the power of a tool like Bento Box, though, because
Yes.
we're not coders. We're restaurateurs. We don't. But that aspect of our business is becoming so significant. It's like having another dining room
Yeah.
on your business. That
It's huge.
and if you don't know how to clean that dining room, if you don't know how to move the chairs around in that dining room, if you don't know how to manipulate that dining room, you're screwed. But with a
Yep.
tool like Bento Box, you don't need to necessarily know how to because they make it simple. It's all drag and drop, and you can quote unquote like Danielle
Code.
saying code, but you're really just dragging and dropping and clicking. Anybody can do it, and it's
Right.
we need to be able to control that aspect of our business. It's
Yeah.
um, I'm loving this conversation. So get back into it. So you adapted, you started, you turned your restaurant into a marketplace.
Yeah.
What adjustments did you make to your website, or is it worth getting into that? Maybe talking more
Well,
about what you're doing now.
I literally like had to turn off like I not crashed my website, but like as you saw it, I turned everything off and I realized I was like, maybe I should have taken pictures of what it used to look like because I have no idea how I'm gonna have to put it back. But I did that the other day in like 2 seconds because Bento is so easy to use.
Yeah.
So we self-delivered everything to kind of avoid third-party charges. Plus I had my whole leadership team who I didn't want to let go and they were like, Danielle, whatever we need to do. So we did grocery. We took all of our delivery charges and our gratuities, and we put them together to give to raise money for our non-working team members. We did that last week. We raised over $20,000.
Awesome.
So it was really it was really amazing, and it was difficult because you've got my leadership team's 10 people, and it's like everybody wants to be in charge, and then here we are. We're like, all right, guys, we've got to work together, and some of you have to deliver and some of you have to do fulfillment and some of you have to do the ordering. And it was kind of really strange because it's like building a new business. And then the second part of that is we were fortunate enough to learn about a contract with the school system that we kind of started to go after. And through, I think it's been 4 weeks now, we just served over 40,000 meals to the school system, to 3 different schools where we produce and distribute their breakfast and lunch for those kids that depend on the school system for their meals every day. And
I love it. And I feel like it's worth mentioning, but I feel like where we are with COVID-19, everyone, I don't know if I agree that the world is changing. I don't know if I agree that there's going to be this completely different world when we come back. I think all the things that we're being told to do right now were things that we should have been doing already. And all the things,
yep,
these quote unquote trends from COVID-19 are just expedited, sped up trends that were already in place. And now
yeah,
you've got to adapt. You've got to incorporate delivery. But we've already talked about tools on the show that if you are implementing these tools, you're kind of, you're set up
you're
to
there.
evolve with the industry, right? Like Bento Box delivery and all these things, toast delivery and all these things. Like these are built into these tools that you've already invested in, and you can just hit a switch and evolve.
Yeah.
It's that simple. What are your thoughts on what I just said?
So it's so funny you say adapt, because that's been kind of like my catchphrase all week is like, I didn't pivot. I adapted. Like pivoted would have been like maybe going to a different business. Like I just found what my customers needed for that time and I adapted to their needs.
Mhm.
And like you said, this is all stuff that we should have been doing in some capacity, like delivery or stuff online. But it was just highlighted during this time period, because that was the need that our guests had. So I think, like you said, the world isn't going to be any different, but we're going to adapt to the changing needs that our guests have because their needs have come in. They're in different ways now.
It's very coincidental that the thing that the trends that were happening, right, of more people ordering online, more people picking up, more people doing delivery, like all that. But now it's just coincidental that because of COVID-19, it's like that on steroids, right? So
Right.
and if we want to stay in business, if we want to connect with our guests who might be a little apprehensive of going out, maybe we have I mean, you're in Florida, like you guys, there's a lot of old people in Florida,
Yeah.
like you got to serve that market, and they're probably going to be the last ones to come out of hiding.
Right.
You know,
Right.
so I don't know. I don't think we need to beat that to death. The reason why I'm really excited to make an example of you, specifically in how you responded to COVID, is there's so many people out there that just decided to like bitch and moan and say this is not fair, like this is happening to us.
Yeah.
And it's not, and I'm not it sucks right now. I don't want to underplay that. It's a very significant. I would hate to be in any one of my listeners' shoes or your shoes, having to be a restaurant owner going through COVID-19. But you chose to do something about it. You chose to see the silver lining. What was that silver lining for you?
You know what? It's so interesting, Eric. Like, I remember like the first week we started doing grocery, and I'm like, I'm tired. This is hard. It was hard work. And we working more than ever. And our friends are like, I'm sitting at home and I just learned how to do Tai Chi on the internet because we have nothing to do. Like, I was like, I want to go into quarantine. And yesterday was our first day that we were allowed to reopen. And everybody who showed up were people who had ordered it from us for grocery, our regular customers, because we stayed relevant to them, right? And they were all like, oh my God, we saw you were open. We wanted to come support you. Like, the world did not just stop. Like, you had to stay relevant to them. You had to show them like you cared enough to adapt to their needs and you would be there for them. So I think I didn't want to just like go away. I didn't want the blood to stop pumping through the veins of the restaurant, because to start up from scratch would have been like painful. And the other thing is that like the opportunity with the school and some other things that we did, those opportunities happened because we were there, we were open, and we were ready. Like, oh, you need a catering order for the hospital tomorrow? Done. We can do it. If somebody had called me, I'd be like, well, let me see who I can get to come into work, and let me, and every day people would be like, how are you going to pay your people? I'm like, I have no idea. I just know today we have a gig that we can do, that we can pay them for. And tomorrow we'll make that decision again.
Mhm.
And, we just sat down as a team and I was like, I have no idea if I can pay you. I have no idea how long this is going to go on for. I just know today, some of you, I'm not going to have to lay off,
Mhm.
but tomorrow I might. And we took every day like that.
Yeah. And I think I love that. I love everything you share with us. The other thing that I'm just going to bring straight to the surface is that you spent one of the things I ask a lot of my guests is how, like, the mission statement is to inspire, empower, and transform the industry.
Hmm.
And you spent the past 20 years transforming as a restaurant owner into the woman you are today, into the restaurateur you are today. And you've been able to not only survive COVID-19, but you're doing really well. Is that safe to say?
Well, we'll see. It's only day one, but yeah, we're open. I'm thriving.
If you enjoyed this video, please help us out. You can do it by liking, sharing, subscribing, and hitting that bell icon. It really helps out. And don't forget, there's a complete archive of every episode with show notes at restaurantunstoppable.com.